It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update as Braun Strowman reveals a shocking new look. A new WWE Championship has been announced. We have the original AEW plans for Brodie Lee, and Bryan Danielson wants the Ring of Honor World Championship. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Earlier this week, it was reported that WWE Senior Vice President and Executive Director Bruce Pritchard has been absent from shows recently due to health issues. Pritchard, as well as several top WWE executives, missed this past Monday's episode of Raw, including Vince McMahon, as a precautionary measure against the virus. However, Pritchard has been absent for several weeks. It was noted on a recent episode of his Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard podcast that he was heading to Mexico for a vacation, although it's unknown if the trip actually took place. In an update from the Wrestling Observer Radio, it was noted that Pritchard does not have the virus and is dealing with a different health issue, but no specifics were confirmed. He was reportedly sick a few weeks back and has been away because of this. There's no word on if Vince's right-hand man will be present at this weekend's Day 1 show in Atlanta, although it has been said that Vince McMahon and other executives that miss Raw will be there, with the show said to be all hands on deck. Next up, we have a report coming from WrestleVotes regarding the aforementioned WWE Day 1 event, which is set to go down this Saturday in Atlanta, Georgia. According to the report, multiple new presentation ideas for the show were pitched, including new camera angles as well as changes to the ring, all of which were rejected by higher-ups. WrestleVotes would tweet, "In coordination with the Day 1 theme, multiple presentation ideas were discussed regarding the new look and feel of tomorrow's pay-per-view. Everything from different rope colours, matte colours, camera angles, etc., and from what I'm told, all were declined." For the past number of years, WWE's shows all feel very same old, with the ring and arenas largely looking the same no matter the event, whether it be a pay-per-view or a TV show. That's unless they're in a fancy arena or stadium. It appears for now that this will continue, with the production heads not keen on switching things up just yet. And continuing the theme of WWE news, this time with a touch of AEW sprinkled in, as we go to a story coming out of this past Monday's episode of Monday Night Raw. At the show in Detroit, there is said to have been a sign that read Nick equals Con, Tony equals Khan. This is obviously a reference to the owner and president of All Elite Wrestling, Tony Khan, as well as WWE President Nick Khan, who has drawn heat from fans due to recent mass releases from the company. The sign appears to have carried a pro-Tony Khan and an anti-Nick Khan message. Whilst WWE Chairman Vince McMahon wasn't present at the show, he was watching via a direct connection to the production truck feed, which is where he saw the sign. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Vince would have quite a reaction to it, ordering it to be removed, which happened within seconds. Next up, it has been revealed that an Impact Wrestling star is now pregnant. Su Yung would reveal last night that her and her husband Rich Swann are expecting their first child, with the baby due in the coming months. On the Impact Wrestling Best of 2021 show, the former Knockouts champion would appear in a segment alongside her undead bridesmaids Kimber Lee and Brandy Lauren, before she would look down at her baby bump before saying, "Your time is near." Young would also post a link to a baby registry on her social media after the show, which reveals the due date to be February 14th, 2022. Young hasn't been seen in the ring since July, where she wrestled under her Susan gimmick in Impact Wrestling, with this news revealing the reason for her absence from in-ring competition. Now let's go to an injury update regarding a current AEW wrestler. Miro, who hasn't wrestled since the Full Gear pay-per-view in November, is said to be dealing with an injury, one that he has been working through in recent matches. According to a report from Fightful, Miro has issues with his hamstring, which explains why he was wearing tape around his leg during his last few matches. Miro was out of action throughout October, but would serve as Jon Moxley's replacement in the World Title Eliminator Tournament, taking on both Orange Cassidy and Bryan Danielson on November 3rd and 13th. These of course were matches he wasn't originally planned to work. Since the Bryan match at Full Gear, Miro has once again been absent. Whilst there is no date given for his return, a Miro vs God promo would air last week on AEW Rampage, which indicates that he is on his way back to active competition. This week, AEW President Tony Khan would speak with Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated, where he would discuss one of the company's most popular young stars. Team Taz's Hook has made quite the impact in his first 2 wrestling matches, bringing a unique in-ring style along with his badass attitude. Justin would ask Khan if he thinks Hook could be Rookie of the Year in 2022, to which he responded, "Hook could be Rookie of the Year in any year. He has the marketing machine fully behind him. He's had great coaching from his father Taz, who is his mentor, and he's learned from a lot of very intelligent pro wrestlers. It bodes really well for him, and he is going to be special every time you see him on screen. There is so much to look forward to in 2022, and Hook is a big reason for that." Hook would make his in-ring debut in early December, where he would defeat Fuego del Sol in convincing fashion, before beating the much larger Bear Bronson last week. It seems the sky's the limit for Hook's potential, and 2022 could well be his breakout year, with him being the one to watch on the AEW roster. Tonight's AEW Rampage will feature a segment with Hook's father Taz as he breaks down his son's offense in the ring, including the Red Rum submission, formerly known as the Taz Mission. During the prime years of total non-stop action wrestling, a key part of their tag team division were the duos of Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns, as well as Generation Me, the team of Max and Jeremy Buck. The latter, of course, are now known as the Young Bucks, who have become one of the most popular tag teams of the modern era. Chris Sabin would speak to GOW Media 216 this week, ahead of Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill event, where he will be challenging Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor World title. The topic of the Forbidden Door came up between Impact and AEW, as well as his former rivalry with the Bucks, with Sabin stating that he wants the Machine Guns versus the Bucks to happen one last time, and he'd say, "Ultimately, with the Forbidden Door, it's about the talent. It's giving people more work, it's providing matches for the fans that they wouldn't be able to see otherwise. It's great to see people succeed, especially when they're good people like Kenny Omega. Seeing him win all those belts and go on that epic, amazing run was really cool to see. A thing that probably played a big role in opening the door for more companies to work with Impact Wrestling. Hopefully it continues long into the future because I really love the Forbidden Door stuff. I think it would be pretty cool to do one more match of Motor City Machine Guns versus the Young Bucks one more time." MCMG haven't teamed together since December 2020, with them having reunited to win the Impact Tag titles just months prior. The Guns are one of my personal favourite tag teams ever, so I'd be more than happy to see them back together against the Young Bucks in AEW, or maybe even in Impact, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. This past Thursday, it was revealed that WWE SmackDown superstar Toni Storm has left the company after she requested her release. Whilst the official reason for her request is currently unknown, Toni appeared in an interview earlier this week before her release that could reveal why she decided to leave. Toni would speak of her frustration with start-stop pushes on the main roster, and she would say, "It's the worst because you don't know. Obviously, wrestling is so unpredictable. Next week you could be main eventing and winning a title and everything could be happening, or nothing. You don't know. It's show business. When you're stuck in catering, it's not a good feeling, sitting there and waiting for your spot or your big break. When am I next? What's happening? Then when stuff starts happening, I'm still like," and then she drew a deep breath. Whilst it's not confirmed if this is the reason she quit, it does seem to indicate that Toni wasn't happy with some aspects of her time on the main roster, one minute being a star of the show, the next doing nothing, seemingly with the flick of a switch. It's also worth noting that Dave Meltzer said on the Wrestling Observer Radio that Toni quit WWE due to being burnt out. It's currently unknown if Storm is subject to a 90-day non-compete clause, although she likely is, and if she is, she will be a free agent as of March 29th, 2022, which is a Tuesday. Today it was announced that a top UK wrestling promotion is now under new ownership, with live crowds set to return in late January. The London-based Progress Wrestling has been brought out by 2 directors of Tranmere Rovers football team, Lee McAteer and Martin Best, with them set to spearhead a new era for the company. Progress will return to Camden's Electric Ballroom on January 23rd, a show which is set to be main evented by a match for the Progress World Championship, with Cara Noir defending his gold against Chris Ridgewell in a first to free falls match. The leadership structure and roster has been reshaped in recent years due to the pandemic, the launch of NXT UK, as well as the Speaking Out movement in June 2020, which tarnished the image of a number of British promotions, including Progress. The new owners would be quoted in the Metro as saying, Our intention is to reaffirm the word professional into professional wrestling for what is literally a new chapter for not only Progress, but the entire British wrestling scene. During the pandemic, the promotion, whose shows air on demand Progress Peacock and the WWE Network, have put on empty venue events but are now ready to welcome back audiences starting in less than 1 month's time. Former WWE superstar Braun Strowman, who now goes by his real name of Adam Scherr, took to social media this week to reveal a brand new look. In an image posted to his Instagram page, Scherr can be seen holding a small alligator at what appears to be a meet and greet, with him rocking a bleach blonde beard. The former WWE Universal Champion was released from the company on June 2nd, 2021, and has made a handful of appearances in wrestling since, most notably for Ring of Honor at Final Battle, where he would align with EC3 as part of the narrative movement. With the narrative claiming to not be tied to one particular promotion, it's possible we could see Scherr pop up in a number of companies going forward, although his Ring of Honor status is up in the air with the promotion currently on hiatus as they evaluate their business going forward. But what do you think of Strowman's brand new look? Let me know in the comments down below. Next week, NXT Cruiserweight Champion Roderick Strong and NXT North American Champion Carmelo Hayes are set to compete at the WWE NXT New Year's Evil special, with both titles on the line. The match is set to see the two titles become one, with both being unified. It has now been revealed that whoever wins the match will be known as the NXT North American Cruiserweight Champion, the new name for the belt. Over recent months, there have been rumors that WWE are set to make major changes to 205 Live, with the show recently featuring wrestlers above the 205 weight limit as well as several members of the women's division. The new name of the new belt suggests that the Cruiserweight division will still exist in some form or another. Whilst it's unclear if the 205 show itself will continue, we know that the Cruiserweight name will live on after merging with the North American title next Tuesday. This week, the Dark Order's Colt Cabana would speak with Chris Denker on the Into the Danger Zone podcast, where he would discuss the late Brodie Lee and the original plans for a match between the two. Before Brodie's passing last December, the Dark Order were in the midst of a storyline which saw their members at odds with each other, and Colt would reveal the original plans for himself and the group, and he would say, "It was supposed to lead to me and Brodie having a match, and it was what it was. So some people will be like, I don't get Colt in the Dark Order. I have so much pride, like I got stuck inside of this bubble. We lost Brodie and I am there now. I feel like I was in a vortex and it's just wild. It means so much to me that I'm in the vortex and I'm part of the team." If you remember, originally Colt felt like the odd one out of the Dark Order, with him being a reluctant babyface in what was then a heel faction at the time, although circumstances would lead to a change of plans and a complete 180 in terms of direction. And speaking of Ring of Honor, a current AEW wrestler and former Ring of Honor champion has revealed that he wants to face the current Ring of Honor champion. In an update with Sports Illustrated, AEW's Bryan Danielson would speak of current ROH champ Jonathan Gresham, naming himself as the perfect opponent for Gresham at Final Battle earlier this month. As we know, then champion Bandido was pulled from the show, vacating his belt in the process, leaving a spot open in the world title main event, which was subsequently filled by Jay Lethal to take on Gresham. Bryan feels that he was the right guy for the spot, but didn't know Bandido had been pulled from the show, and he said, "I'm not on my phone ever. It's hard to get me to pick up my phone at any given point of the day. So I didn't realize until Saturday morning, the day of Final Battle, that Bandido couldn't do the show. I was like, that would have been perfect for me to come in and do that. It would have been a lot of fun. I'm not sure that would have even been okay with the state my knee was in on Friday, but I think that's a match a lot of wrestling fans would want to see." Danielson has expressed an interest in a match with Gresham in the past, and it appears it's something he continually has his eye on. Whether we'll see Gresham versus Danielson in AEW or when Ring of Honor returns remains to be seen, but it would be great to see Bryan fight for the belt that helped put him on the map. Well, with that said, AEW could be reluctant to have one of their top stars take their first loss under these circumstances, unless Bryan wins, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. And before you go, make sure you check out my video where I discuss 12 of the most obscure WWE appearances by AEW wrestlers.